Hi everybody, welcome back to CJ's DIY channel. And believe it or not, it's been 6 months since I got this welder, and it's the HYL MIG 160. And this is what prompted me actually to start doing YouTube videos. Believe it or not, if you've watched some of my previous videos on this welder when I first got it, I'll apologize right now for those videos. I know they're not very professional, and still not for that matter, but at any rate, the reason I started doing YouTube videos, especially in regards to this welder, was I looked everywhere for information on this welder. I was very intrigued by the price of this welder and what it seemingly offered for that price. It's a 160 amp welder, and you know, my price budget for a welder at the time when I was looking for a welder was in the neighborhood of, you know, between $300 and $400. That's about what I could spend at the time, and I wanted, you know, a good quality welder. But you know, for anything really over 130 amps, you know, you were looking at, you know, upwards of $700 to $1,000 and more, depending upon, you know, what brand you went with, and that kind of thing. And so, you know, as I was looking for a welder, I, you know, stumbled upon an ad, you know, looking for a welder for this HYL. And so I got to looking at it, and again, you know, for the price point and for everything that it would do, I was wanting more than 130 amps, and I was wanting an inverter welder, and so this really caught my eye. And so, you know, I looked everywhere for information. There wasn't a whole lot of information on it. I mean, you could go to the IWE website, which is my understanding is the only distributor in the United States for HYL, and HYL is a Chinese company, so this is a Chinese welder. And so naturally I had some reservations about purchasing this welder, and was hoping that I could find some YouTube videos on it, one way or the other. And there were a couple of YouTube videos, not for the MiG 160, but for some HYL welders, but they were in, you know, a different country, and I couldn't understand, you know, what they were saying. They could be saying that it was the worst welder in the world for all I know. But so, you know, I struggled with purchasing this, and to make a long story short, I ended up getting this welder for under $300, and again, you know, for the price point, it just really, I decided to take a chance on it and go ahead and purchase it. So I did that. I've been using it now for 6 months, and you know, let me preface this by saying I am in no way, shape, or form a welder. I've never taken welding classes. I am self-taught, or let me rephrase that, I'm YouTube taught. All the welding I've done has been by myself and watching YouTube videos, and so, you know, that's how I got started. And so I went ahead, took a chance, bought this welder, and to my surprise, it has been flawless. I mean, absolutely flawless. Everything I've wanted to do with it, it has done everything perfectly. I mean, again, I'm not a welder. I don't have a lot to compare this to. I have used a little 130 amp Miller-Matic welder before, and this welder is far better than that one. But again, I'm not knocking Miller. That preferably was the brand that I would have liked to have gotten. Just couldn't afford it. But anyway, so again, it's been 6 months since I've been using this welder. I've not had any issues with it. The one thing I have used a couple of times, but you know, it's just so much easier to use the MIG welder. You know, you got a big spool of wire on it. You don't have to change out your electrodes, that kind of thing, and it served me very well. Having said that, I have used the stick welding function on it a couple of times, just to make sure that it was working. But haven't used it a lot. And so today, during this 6-month update / review on this welder, I thought I would do some stick welding. And again, I'm not a welder, so you know, my welds aren't going to look that great. I can already tell you that. But you know, it's more just to show you what the welder is capable of and is still functioning flawlessly. So I've already got my stick weld lead hooked up, and again, it's all DINS connectors, which makes it really nice. You know, to change out your wire leads, all that is easily changed out, so it makes it very nice. But also, I've only got some 7018 rods, since like I just said, I've only used the stick welding part on it a couple of times. I haven't really had a need to go buy some welding rods, so the only ones I have is some 3/32 diameter 7018s, which is what I'll be using today. But I am in the future, not on this video, but in the future, I would like to see if this welder could weld with the infamous 6010 that, you know, if you watch YouTube videos on welding, you'll see a lot of videos on how, you know, inverter machined welders are, you know, prone to not working very well with the 6010 rod. So just out of curiosity, I would like to see what this welder would do with 6010 rod, and so in the future I'm going to buy some of those and see how it does. It, you know, it does actually show, if you look here on the panel, down here on the stick welding chart, it does actually show 6010 rods. So it'll be interesting to see if it actually will weld with 6010 rods, being an inverter type welder. But again, that'll be in a future video coming up. So I'm gonna go ahead and get to it. I'm gonna weld today. I've got just a couple of pieces here of you know, practice. I've been, you know, just throwing a few pieces together and welding stuff together. I did grind this down just so it'd be you know, an even or a clean surface for the stick welds. And so I'm gonna go ahead and get started on that, and we'll see how it does. Okay, let's look and see what we've got here. Okay, so it don't look too bad. Again, I'm not a welder. You know, I mean, hey, to me it looks pretty good. I mean, I certainly think it would hold two pieces of metal together. This is 1/8 inch angle iron is what I was welding with. I was welding at 100 amps and with 3/32 7018 rods. So so what I think about this welder after 6 months, I absolutely love it. I think that I got my money's worth. Definitely don't suspect or don't have any reason to believe that this welder is going to, you know, crap out on me anytime soon. It seems like it's very well put together. Quality seems very nice. I guess all I can say is, I mean, it comes on every time I turn it on. It welds every time I try to weld with it. So I don't guess you can ask much more out of a welder than that. So that's my 2 cents on this welder. And I would also like to say that I am not affiliated with HYL whatsoever, or IWE, the dealer that sells these welders, which I believe is out of Florida. And I'm not affiliated with either one of those companies. I'm just, you know, average DIY guy. Was looking for a bargain, and I really believe I found it. Sure, you can go get a lot cheaper welders than this. That probably, you know, may be perfectly fine. So I'm not knocking any other welder, but for what I was looking for at the time, I really feel like that again, anything over 130 amps, it seems like you really end up paying quite a bit of money for a MIG welder. And and that's what I was wanting, really, was a MIG welder. I wasn't wanting a stick welder. But when I saw this one, and it had, you know, it's 3-in-1, actually. It does TIG as well. I don't have any 100% argon, so I've not tried the TIG welding part of this welder. But I have, you know, obviously I've done MIG. That's what I've been using it with. I used flux core for about probably 4 or 5 months first, and then I got me a tank with 75-25 mix, and I've been using the MIG part of the welder for the last couple of months, and that seems to be working flawlessly, which is great. It really makes a nice weld using that. And like I said, so then the stick function of it seems to work extremely well. I've had no problems with it whatsoever. So yeah, that's the scoop on that. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you'd like to see me do more with this welder, write it in the comments. I do have some upcoming projects, and I know I keep saying that on my videos, but I've just had so much stuff going on here lately, and the weather's not cooperated. But in the very near future, I've got some projects that I'm going to be doing, and that will be utilizing this welder as well as my plasma torch. And so stay tuned, and thanks for watching. Don't forget to comment and subscribe and give me a thumbs up. Thanks.